Imagine 40 years on the mats, training 5-6 days a week, and you're still able to do it with a smile on your face and a body that's working. In this next episode, we're gonna be sharing the amazing story of Master Danny Dring and how he's been able to accomplish such a profound feat. Danny, thank you so much for being on Inside the Fight with us today. I can't tell you how excited I am to have what I'm going to call an original gangster, original badass on our show today. Can you tell me who you are and where you're from?
Sure. My name's Danny Dring. I'm the Grand Master Instructor of Living Defense Martial Arts here in Sherwood, Arkansas. And I was born in Thunder Bay, Ontario, in Canada. My father was in television and moved from Canada to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where he worked for a TV station in Green Bay. So I'm a diehard Packer fan. Gotcha. And then when I was about 6 years old, we moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. And so I've been here in Central Arkansas my whole life.
Ever since. Now, here's something that is one of the themes of the show that we're talking about is how few people accomplish and achieve their black belt in their martial arts journey. But here's something interesting about you. How many black belts do you hold, my friend?
Half a dozen.
You own half.
So
we're going to call it owning. We're going to call it
Taekwondo.
achieved.
I started in Taekwondo, and I've achieved the rank of 9th degree black belt, and that's in our particular art. That art, I'm a Grand Master in Taekwondo. It sounds like I should be a rapper or something, right? That's probably the most pretentious rank there is in the martial arts.
Right.
But I think as an instructor, I refer to myself as a Grand Master Instructor because I feel like that's a professional designation, right? You know, like a master electrician or a master carpenter. I feel like it refers more to my status as an instructor. I have an 8th degree black belt with Bill Superfoot Wallace. I've got a 7th degree black belt with Joe Lewis in kickboxing. So Bill and Joe were my kickboxing mentors. I have a 7th degree black belt in Japanese style of Jujutsu. I've got a 5th degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I also have a black belt in Shorinry. And then, you know, plus law enforcement, I'm a defensive tactics instructor for the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. I've been a reserve deputy for over 30 years. And so I get to work the street. And the main thing I do, though, is teach defensive tactics to the department.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you sit on some boards as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm the co-chair of the Arkansas Athletic Commission.
Yep.
And so the Athletic Commission here in Arkansas is overall combative sports. Boxing, kickboxing, MMA. And so I've spent over 16 years on that commission, and so pretty active in the combat sport community.
Right. Now, you've been around for a little bit. You've been on the mats for, we could just say, a hot minute. What have been some of the biggest changes that you've seen in the martial arts and the fight sport arena, you know, throughout your career?
So now it's so much easier to learn BJJ in particular, but all martial arts in general. The access to information, just like, you know, back in the day, to learn Jiu-Jitsu was really, really, really difficult.
Right.
If you didn't have a Brazilian to teach it to you, I actually was on the mat with Horian and Royce Gracie 3 years before the first UFC. So, I mean, nobody knew what Jiu-Jitsu was, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in particular. So it was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, but it was very rare to find. Now you can go online and there's a wealth of information on every cell phone, right? I mean, it's so simple to, you can Google and ask questions and get video and get tons of instruction. Back in the day, it was the oral tradition. If you didn't have somebody in front of you, right, talking to you, teaching you, you couldn't learn. And so the access to information is really a game changer.
Yeah, it's changed tremendously. I mean, even in the last 4 years that I've been in the jiu-jitsu world, traveling to different academies, sharing the message that we share, just in the last 4 years, it continues to explode. Cities where there would be maybe one school now have 4 or 5 or 6 schools. Parts of the country where maybe they weren't any jiu-jitsu academies in an entire state now have, every city, has one now, and it's just been the most amazing thing to watch. One of the themes that keeps coming up with so many of our black belts and our world champions is the jiu-jitsu family. Can you tell me what that means to you and how that plays out in your life and why that's so special?
For sure. I guess as one of the, not the, definitely wasn't in the first wave, but I was pretty close to the first wave of black belts in America. When I first got my black belt, I was the first black belt here in the state of Arkansas, and and even then it was a very community feel. I remember when there was bjj.org. It was a website that had every legitimate black belt in the world was on this website.
Yeah.
Now they couldn't keep up with the website like that because, to your statement, there are tons and tons and tons of black belts. But there's been a real family kind of feel to jiu-jitsu, and it's because jiu-jitsu is intimate. You got people that are in your personal space trying to simulate murder on you. They're choking you and twisting you, and yet it develops a bond and a camaraderie that almost nothing else does.
Right.
You're in, and I don't care how good you get. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and then as I like to refer to myself more as a mature martial artist as opposed to that vile 3-letter word, old. So, and it's, man, getting on the mat with the younger black belt, the young guys, and it's I believe there's a real humility that occurs when you're doing something like jiu-jitsu, regardless of how good you get or the technical knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's a shared experience, and it's something that if you do jiu-jitsu in Washington State or in, Maceió, Brazil, or Little Rock, Arkansas, and those experiences are remarkably the same. And it gives, I think it brings people together because they know exactly what you're going through when you say you do jiu-jitsu.
100%. Now, one of the very common things, aside from the love of jiu-jitsu, that most practitioners share is injuries. And you've had a couple of those throughout your, few decades on the mats. Can you talk about, how injuries impact athletes and fighters?
Oh, for sure. I tell people the number one thing that gets people off of the mat is injury.
Yeah.
And it's so it's just part of the human condition, right? We're all going to suffer from an injury from time to time. In fact, I've had enough of them that I wrote a book. It's available on Amazon. Google my name. Stay in the fight. And I'm being serious. It's something that we're all going to have to deal with. And the ones that stay on the mat are the ones that learn how to come back from injury.
Right.
They learn how to take care of themselves and do the things they need to do to be able to get back out there and keep rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does it mean to have someone in your corner and someone for you like New Hope Regeneration that can help you accomplish those goals?
Well, I'm telling you what, that it was huge for me personally, and having had most recently surgery on my elbow, and post-op, I started looking around. I've always been one to seek out what's going to help me. Nutrition, hydration, rest, training methodologies, getting out there and getting after it, and looking for the kind of therapeutic things that I can do to get back on the mat. And I was led to New Hope, and it really was huge for me in a variety of ways. Being able to get better sleep, it was really important. Being able to help deal with inflammation was really important. And then being able to help speed the healing was really important. So I had that surgery on my elbow December 29th. And then since surgery, I went to Brazil, took a group of guys to Brazil to be able to train. I'm now training for Masters Worlds and working out 2 and 3 times a day. And, most guys my age aren't training 2 and 3 times a day. And, some of it's active recovery, some of it's cardio, some of it's strength training. And of course, I'm on the mat rolling and drilling.
Right.
So, this is what I do for a living. So it helps out. But trust me, it gets tougher every year that goes by. And without having the therapeutic value that I've found from stem cells and from New Hope, I just don't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing right now based on the surgeries that I've had within the last, 8 months.
Yeah, and it's been really fascinating. I think you texted me about 6 weeks later. How many pull-ups did you do? You shot me a message and you're like, oh, hey, is this okay for a workout?
Yeah. So pre-surgery, I was doing well over 100. And then 6 weeks after, when I started back doing pull-ups after surgery, I guess it was about 6-8 weeks after surgery when I was cleared. And it was all I could do to do about 30.
Yeah.
And that was over the course of a workout. Right. It was difficult. And then I got back on it, and Tuesday I did 117 in just under 20 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking push-ups, we're talking pull-ups. Danny, how old are you?
61.
61, doing 117 pull-ups. That's no joke. All of our cameramen around the room right now are looking at me like, oh my gosh. So what would you say to other athletes or maybe even non-athletes about seeking out New Hope to help them with their health challenges?
Well, it's pretty easy. It's what's important to you in your training. And for me, it's a no-brainer, because anything that can give me anything that can give me a competitive edge,
right?
Anything that's going to let me stay on the mat and continue to earn my living and do what I love to do is worthy. Is worth it to me. It's worthy of investigation. And when you look at the process that New Hope does, the way the stem cells are sourced was really important to me. The attitude of the company was really important to me. The fact that it gives me an opportunity to continue to do what I love to do means the world to me. And so when you're looking at things like inflammation and improved rest and improved healing, and those are huge issues, especially for the athlete. And as an aging athlete, it's really important, right?
Yeah.
So it's been amazing to me to be able to get out. And I'm training and teaching and maintaining a schedule. I was in the gym this morning at 6:30 drilling Jujutsu, and then I was back in the gym at 8:30 doing weighted pull-ups and worked out for an hour and a half. And then I was back at noon to do another private lesson, and then I did another private lesson late this afternoon just prior to getting on this. And then I've got a couple hours of classes I'm going to be teaching this evening.
Right.
Most guys my age are not running that kind of a schedule. And so, I watch everything. I watch my diet. I watch my hydration. I've got to get my rest. But that my ace this last year has been that stem cell therapy. And I'm so grateful to have been able to have that and to be able to share my story with others, because it was 100% worth it for me. And I plan to make that an annual part of my self-care regime. This life isn't a dress rehearsal. We got one life.
Amen.
And I plan on making the most of it. And I know that New Hope and stem cell therapy is going to allow me to stay actively engaged in the process of living.
Fantastic. Well, Danny, I can't thank you enough for being on our show today. Your passion, your journey, your leadership in the martial arts community and the community as a whole. You're one of the most respected figures, that I know, that and we become, good friends over the course of this last year, and just grateful for you beyond measure, and just keep doing what you're doing. We need more men like you showing us by example what's possible.
Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate what you're doing. And New Hope is really an apt term for your company and for what you're able to do for everybody, Kevin. Thank you so much for your kind words. And I feel really blessed to be a part of this team.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of Inside the Fight. And to learn more about how you can change your life the way that Master Danny Dring did, go to InsideTheFight.net right now. And we'll see you on the next episode of Inside the Fight.